Everyone, welcome to another one of the interesting variant Sudokus. It's somewhat of the easier variety because I'm still working my way up as far as logical solve paths. So this one is called absolute gas, gas being short for genuinely approachable Sudokus, and evidently a lot of people have solved this one. All it says is thermometers increase from bulb to tip, so what that means is that's a bulb, that's a tip, and the digits increase from this end to this end. In a similar fashion, from this one to that one on this thermometer, and that one to that one on the third thermometer in the rightmost three columns. So, be that as it may, if you count the number of digits, and if I can highlight them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That happens to be a 9-cell thermometer. There are exactly 9 Sudoku digits. And guess what? We know that's a 1, that's a 9, and we know the order because they increase naturally. So I can just fill in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, just like that. Now, in a similar fashion, you may have already caught on to this, but this thermometer in the middle three columns has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 digits. Well, that means it's only 1 through 8 or 2 through 9. Well, this cell can't be a 1 because of that. So guess what? That starts with 2. And if I write in 2 through 9, sure enough, I'm going to have 8 digits. 6, 7, 8, 9. This one, if I can highlight right, is 7 cells long. This cell can't be 1 or 2, so it has to start with 3. And there you go. 8, 9. Okay. So, let's see. One I happen to know. So, well, this is going to end up being a roping puzzle, I think. Because I've already got 1, 2, 3 filled in. These cells can't be 4, 5, 6 because I have them looking at it. So these are 7, 8, 9, and these are 4, 5, 6. Now this one already has 4 and 5 looking at it, so I know that's a 6 immediately. And now that one has a 4 and 6 looking at it, so I know 4, 5, 6 in that order. Now, I know these cells are 1, 2, 3 to fill out that column. These cells are also 1, 2, 3. Now, because these are 1, 2, 3, guess what? These have to be 7, 8, 9 in column 2, and these are 4, 5, 6. Now, this one has 7, 8 looking at it from row 6, so it's a 9. Wait a minute. I forgot to switch modes. This one has 7, 8 looking at it. It must be 9, and therefore that must be 8, and that must be 7. See, am I going to have a similar logic in these hells here, maybe? None of these can be 6, 7, 8, so they must be 1, 2, 9, right? This one sees 1 and 2, so it's a 9. And now this one sees 9 and 2, so it's a 1, and therefore that's a 2. 6, 7, and 8 go here, of which that's not 6. So these are 3, 4, 5. See, these can't be 6, 7, 8, so these are also 1, 2, 9. But that's not 9. And therefore, 6, 7, and 8 go here. Well, guess what? That sees 7 and 8. I have to switch modes again. So that must be 6, and now this sees 6 and 8. That's 7, therefore that's an 8. Okay, that 6 looks over here. This is not 6. This 9 looks over here. This is not 9. Let's see. These cells, looking down column 4, these can't be 5, 6, 7, so these are 1, 8, 9. because 5, 6, 7 have to go here. Well, guess what? This sees 6 and 7, it must be 5. And now that one sees 5 in its box and 7 in its row, so that's 6, which means that's 7. This one sees 8 and 9, so it's 1, which means that's 9, that's 8. This is a very suspicious pattern here. If I look down the columns, I pretty much, so far, there hasn't been a single break. This is 3, 4, 5, and this is going to end up being 3, 4, 5, but you'll notice here, this 6, 7, 8, this 6, 7, 8, this 9, 1, 2, this is the start of 9 and 1, 2. So if I know one set of triples in one of the columns, I can pretty much write them in order in some other set of the same 3 columns, but not in the same column as the first one. 5, 6, 7 almost certainly is going to end up there. Oh, it is actually. Because these can't be 5, 6, 7, so these are 1, 8, 9. And these are 5, 6, 7. Well, that sees 5 and 6, it must be 7. And I can write the rest in. This one sees 1 and 9. I can write those in. Sure enough, this is now 3, 4, or 5. Whoops. Okay, that's not right. Yeah, I mean 2, 3, or 4. There we go. That makes a little more sense. Now, this 5 looks at that, so that's a 4. This sees 4 and 6, it must be 5. This cell sees an 8, so it must be 7. This sees 7 and 9, it must be 8. Yep, there hasn't been a single break from that pattern yet. But this sees 1, so that's 2. This sees 2 in the column 9 in its rows. That's 1, which makes that 9. This 2 comes over here. That sees 3. This sees 1 and 3, 3 by column, 1 by row. I can write those in. 7 looks over here. That sees an 8, 7, 6, like that. Let's see. This cell sees 4 and 5. It must be 3. I can write the rest in, like so. That one sees 3 and 4 looking at it, so it's a 2. I can write those in. I need 1 there to complete that box. 2, 1. This sees 1 and 2. It must be 3. That must be 2. That must be 1. I should be able to just write everything in at this point. 5, 6, 7, sure enough, these are 2, 3, 4, and 4 has to go there. This sees 2 and 4. It's a 3. That's a 2. And now I'm just filling it in, and wow, that was fast. Yeah, if I go by patterns, 9, 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, guess what? These are 3, 4, 5, and this sees 4 and 3. It's 5, this sees 3 and 5, it's 4, it's 3. And just like that, 7.5 minutes. Yeah, this one was very easy. Once I discovered the pattern, and as it turns out, if I look across the rows, well, not quite. The rows don't quite conform, even though there's a 3, 9, 6 here, here, and here in exactly that order. And 285, 285. Well, this couldn't have been 285. I think the fact that I got this so quickly was I caught on that the columns were pretty much roped. 1, 2, 3 follows exactly in order. I just switch which column I do in the left 3 columns, and then the same sequence of triples. There is no break in triples if you look at just the leftmost 3 columns or the middle 3 columns or the rightmost 3 columns. Once I figured that out, the rest of it unwound just like that. And thank you for joining me.